Now, on the last part of your application in this example, it's page 3 of 3, the certification of work experience. It's the most important part of your state application. So getting this right is going to make or break your application getting accepted the first time. Anything that happens after that sometimes can lead to more of the deputies getting involved in your application. So that's why we check this form thoroughly. In the beginning of it, you just list the last name, first name, middle name at the top. Now, one of the issues that come up we get a lot is people think that they're working for somebody else as an employee, but it really comes down to if they've taken taxes out of your wages. If they have not, you've been working self-employed. If they have, well, then you're just going to list the name of your employer and not check that box, and it goes right there in this line number 2. And then along after doing that, you would list that person's license number of the employer and then the employer's business address in line 3. In this example, most people are using self-employed experience in one way or another. So I'm just going to go with the we're not doing the working as an employee example. So check the box in this example, that's what we're doing. And then you would leave everything blank, this and the employer's address. Now line number 4 is regarding working on your own property as an owner builder. And if you can avoid that, that would be great. It requires a lot more detail on the next form below. It's the construction project experience form, and that's where they ask for lots of detail on your background, permits, receipts, what was done, job expenses, the subs, all kinds of stuff. So if you can avoid that, that would be great. Most people do. So we're just going to mark no on this one in this example. Now the next part is part 2, the work experience. Now in this example, we're just going to use a straight 10 years, 0 months. Now, if you look under the 10 years, 0 months, you're going to see this thing. It says, do not claim credit for full-time work if applicant worked only part-time. For example, if the applicant worked half the time for 6 years, you would write in 3 years, 0 months. So basically, the way this works out is if you have off and on experience, you can't be full-time for a year and then let's say part-time for another year with the same employer or with the same or being self-employed. It's got to be continuous, or they're just going to hack off 50% of your time. So if you can avoid losing that much time, I would use the full-time experience to give you the most credit as possible so you can qualify for the 4 years within the last 10. So you want to make sure you include that. Now, of course, if you have a college degree, that counts for 2 years of experience if it's a 4-year degree. Things like that can also help when you're having issues with showing enough experience. Now, as far as the description goes, for a general builder, you have to have carpentry and framing listed there. It's one of the prerequisites, and plumbing, electrical, and concrete. Also has to be either 2 unrelated trades. So it's carpentry and framing plus 2 unrelated trades. And the state sees 3 trades specifically that are unrelated to themselves, and that's plumbing, electrical, and concrete. Now, anything beyond that, you want to list. And this is where checking your application really becomes very important that we get it right the first time. And you just don't want to list these trades exactly like this because it's going to look very suspicious to the state. They're going to think, oh, wow, he knows that, or they know the definition of what we're looking for. So it's better to have a professional check that. That's what we do. We go over your application personally to make sure everything's going to be dialed in there so it expresses your experience and not just the industry standard basic trades needed to be listed to qualify, because that's where it gets very obvious that something's up. So that's one of the most important things of your application is getting this form right, and the best way to do that is consulting with us so we can talk to you, find out your experience and what you've been doing over this time frame. Now, in addition to this, we're at the bottom, once you get this section completed, it says my relationship to, and this example is John Doe. So they're talking in the third person. I know it seems confusing on this part, but basically the person that's signing you off is stating, oh yeah, I've known John Doe doing these trades and many other things listed there. So that's all it's stating right there. Now the rest of it, this is the relationship to this person to you. So if this person that's signing it off is a contractor, great, then you check the contractor box and put their license number there. If they've been a client and a contractor, that's great too. But there are certain things that you have to use as far as your qualifier, and that's where we come in again, trying to make sure the best person that's going to sign you off is going to make this whole process as easy as possible. So that's it for now. That's pretty much all your application. And if you have any questions, by all means, give us a call at 858-551-8937. Thanks so much.